All right, so once again, just taking a moment to arrange yourself to get comfortable, giving yourself permission to take a little bit of your energy and put it on what's happening in my body right now. In particular, some areas we tend to forget to pay attention to until they complain to us is the back, especially the lower back, especially in American furniture, which is all designed to trick the back into taking an unnatural shape. So just make sure you've got some support in the lumbar area. Notice your feet. Are you cutting off any circulation or are they resting pretty well? And this will be just the first step, taking some of your awareness to scan from the top of your head down to your toes and notice where things are comfortable, which you can then say, yay, and where things are uncomfortable, where you say, let me make a shift here. Notice which pieces might be uncomfortable because of nothing that you can do anything about, a sore muscle maybe, and which pieces of discomfort you can do something about. And so this is going to be step one, just bringing yourself into the present moment by bringing awareness to what's happening in the body. We can then expand on this, maybe even by just noticing our breath, the breath coming in, the breath going out. And is it coming in and going out at a rate that's adding to our comfort or to our discomfort? And just making any shifts. You don't even need to make shifts. Sometimes just becoming aware is enough for things to settle into a natural rhythm that's helpful. So while here in this present moment, bringing awareness to what is, we can bring awareness to your thoughts, what you are saying to yourself, the voices wandering through your head. You can bring your awareness to your feelings, what's happening emotionally and with feelings, maybe upset, excited, sad, mad, maybe even bored. Just noticing them, not trying to change them, not try to shift them, just notice what's there. And then into our sensations, our physical sensations. Sometimes these match up with our feelings, sometimes they're completely different. Are you noticing a tightness, a holding on, a lightness? You can even include in this noticing where you are and how you're interacting with your environment. For example, perhaps sun on the face, what your hands are touching, the feel of fabric, maybe even the sounds of other people going about their business somewhere else. Just resting with this awareness, including once again that periodic sensation of boredom with awareness. And then we can move to step two of this 5-step process we're doing today. Step two is to move towards the unpleasant. We normally react to an unpleasant feeling or a pain in one of two ways. One, we try to block or distract ourselves from it, or two, it swamps us. We get swallowed up in it. We're drowning in the discomfort. We feel like it's running the show and we're just being carried along like some scared Uber passenger in the back of a car with a wild driver, drowning in it or the associated fears. What if this continues? I can't believe I'm doing this again. Well, we're going to move in this step towards a third choice. Now, it might sound like option two, but it's actually quite different. Rather than drowning in it, letting it swamp you, you are going to be observing it. You're just going to be observing and watching what this sensation is like in the body, in the mind, in the thoughts and feelings. So what I'd like you to do now is to just go ahead and pull up that unpleasant feeling. Maybe the feeling that comes when someone doesn't do things the right way, or maybe they're bothering you by asking for help when the answer is so obvious. Just notice the sensation that arises up in the face of that helplessness or that incompetence or something else that's unpleasant. Just observe it. Notice where you feel it, perhaps even just noticing where in your body this sensation feels the strongest. Move your attention away from the storyline. In other words, the situation that brought it up and they should this, I should that, all of that that goes with the storyline. And instead, just observe the sensations corresponding to this unpleasant sensation or emotion or feeling. What precisely are the sensations? Is it a throbbing, a tingling, an ache, a constriction, a burning? Where are they precisely? Maybe this discomfort has a shape with an edge that you could trace with your finger. Maybe even boundaries, a spot where it fades away and it's not that anymore but something else. Maybe this area here, it's denser, more concentrated, and then gets more watery as you further move away. Just notice how thick or thin, deep or shallow it is. Letting those sensations be there while you continue to observe, not trying to change it, not trying to explain it away, just letting it be. So now step three, I'd like you to think about that at any moment there are thousands of places we can put our attention. Pain is a siren call to pay attention to a particular set of inputs, let's call them. Maybe physical sensations or thoughts or interpretations or feelings. What you're going to do now is allow yourself to shift to one of the other thousand places you can put your attention. I'd like you to just look for some place, perhaps in your body, where you are feeling anything but that unpleasant thing over there you were feeling. Might even look for something pleasant in your experience. Maybe it's just a neutral feeling like, oh, my big left toe has no feeling right now. Or it might be, oh, I remember what that felt like in my chest when I saw those pretty flowers this morning. Or, oh, the feeling that came from sniffing that fresh bread that had just come out of the oven. Just take a moment to seek out this other thing. And maybe even another thing next to that, if it's a neutral thing, till you find yourself, perhaps it's something pleasant in your experience. Might be simple as noticing the warmth of your hands, pleasant feeling in the belly, or seeing a shaft of sunlight streaming through the window. Notice what it's like to notice this, to observe this, to let this feeling be there while also noticing the feeling. Step 4 is noticing this feeling and continuing to feel it. I'd like you to imagine that you've been looking perhaps through a microscope and you can dial it out to conclude a larger and larger area. I'd like you to broaden your awareness, dial it out until it includes both the pleasant and unpleasant aspects you've been noticing today. Just notice how they both come into view, and they both are there, side by side. You're here, observing them there. And notice that as you observe, you can experience both of them side by side. Maybe first sticking one toe in one puddle, and then another toe in the other puddle. Noticing what it's like to go back and forth between the two, and eventually what it can feel like to just allow this experience and that experience to exist side by side. Yeah, that's a nice sensation. And then let's dial that out a little further to include your whole body now. Dial it out to include your surroundings so that you're beginning to get a sense of being much bigger than any specific unpleasant or pleasant aspect of your experience. Might even have the sensation of beginning to see more and more of the surroundings until you see the whole neighborhood with you a little dot down there in the middle of the neighborhood, and those two experiences little tiny dots inside that little dot, and you might dial it out until you see all of Earth from space. Being able to zoom down and see that tiny dot there with those two tiny dots inside that dot, and that neighborhood a dot, and the continent a dot, and the bigger world. And notice how those things can include those things and so much more. And this moves us to step 5. As your attention moves now into the world around you, notice how noticing allows you to have the sensation of being able to respond rather than react. And from this viewpoint, you can see all these options that are available to you. And you find yourself curious about which choice best fits for you right now. Because both experiences are there, you can float into either one. Isn't it curious that you now have this ability to look back and choose, letting your attention go where you choose to let it go? Even if temporarily there was an interaction or reaction that triggered an inner response, that response now can shift. this awareness, you can just take a deep breath and bring this understanding back into the world with you, back into the room. If your eyes have closed to help you do this, you can let your eyes open. You can stretch. This is a wonderful time to yawn. Oh. And welcome back.